Every e-com brand out there is burning through money and they don't even know it, okay? I've audited dozens and dozens of email accounts for DTC brands, and the one common denominator I see between every single one of them is that they are missing crucial flows, okay? I'm not just talking about startup brands. I'm also talking about the brands that are doing 7 figures a month. They are missing crucial flows and they have no idea what it's costing them. The most slept on flows are the ones that never get built. So today, I'm going to show you the 9 core flows that every single DTC brand needs. And by the end of this video, I'm going to send you a 25-page guide that walks you through every single one of these flows and how to build them absolutely for free. If you're a DTC operator and your email channel is stuck between 5 to 20%, it's almost always because there are missing flows. It's not just the startup brands, it's also the brands doing 7 figures a month that have the same missing gaps. It's almost always because they're missing flows. If you're new here, my name is Min. I help DTC ecom brands generate over $10 million from email. My clients average 42% of their revenue from email and SMS alone. So let me show you the pattern I see in every single account, walk you through the 9 core flows, and then I'll show you exactly how to grab the guide. So the pattern that I see with every brand that I audit is that every single brand is missing at least, at the very minimum, 3 out of the 9 core flows. And here's the thing, it's almost always the same flows that are missing. The flows that compound revenue the most, the deepest intent flows, the most slept on flows, these are the flows that never get built. Most brands have a very basic welcome flow and maybe one abandoned cart email, and they think that they're set. Meanwhile, the flows that with 2x their email revenue are sitting there unbuilt and they're wondering why they're losing every single month. That is where the money is bleeding quietly in the background every single day. So let me get into it. Here are the 9 flows, then we'll walk through every single one of them. So there's 2 buckets of flows, acquisition and retention. Acquisition captures and converts new visitors and subscribers, while retention maximizes repeat purchases and keeps your list healthy. So we have 5 acquisition flows and 4 retention flows, that's 9 total. So let me walk you through what each flow does at a high level. Don't worry about how to build out each flow. That's all gonna be in the guide that I'm sending you at the end. So let's start with the 5 acquisition flows. Number 1 is the welcome flow. This one triggers when somebody joins your list that is connected to your pop-up form. So this person's curiosity is at the absolute peak. They metaphorically just raise their hand and ask to hear from you. So you wanna think of this as a physical store. You kinda wanna think of a customer who just walked into your shop for the very first time. You greet them at the door, you show them your welcome offer, and you introduce them to who you are. The welcome flow is the single highest revenue generating flow in nearly every single brand that I audit. So next is the abandoned checkout flow. This gets triggered when somebody checks out, but they don't finish. They were pretty much a credit card swipe away, and then something happened that just interrupted them. This is the deepest intent of all the 9 core flows. These people are basically yours. You just have to get to them before the moment cools down. You kind of want to think of this as a cashier waving from the register, telling the customer, hey, your stuff is still here. We're ready when you are. That first email fires really fast, anywhere from 30 minutes to 2 hours, maybe even less. You want to test this. So next up is the abandoned cart flow. This gets triggered when they add it to cart and they just never checked out. So these people are usually still in consideration mode. They're not yet committed, or maybe they just got distracted. You can kind of think of this customer as a shopper walking around your store holding one of your items or your products and just hasn't gotten to the cash register yet. Or possibly this person was walking around your store, they just got a FaceTime, so they stepped out of the store to take that FaceTime and they just completely forgot what they were doing. Your job here is to nudge, not push. So this is the same cadence as the abandoned checkout, but just different copy and different buyer level awareness and buyer psychology. The abandoned cart was still deciding, while the abandoned checkout was they literally almost bought. So the next acquisition flow is the abandoned product, also known as the browse abandonment flow. This gets triggered when somebody views a product but never adds to cart. So the abandoned cart is the shallowest intent of all the acquisition flows. And you can kind of think of this as a shopper who is on the way out of the mall, but you ask a quick question just to keep them engaged. So this is not a hard sell at all. This is more of a like, hey, we saw you looking at this. Do you want to know a little bit more? So this flow definitely has a smaller per send revenue than all the other deeper acquisition flows, but it does have volume. It would catch all the visitors in the consideration stage, which would have otherwise just, leaked out the door. So the next and final acquisition flow that I would recommend is the abandoned click flow, okay? This is kind of the upgrade from the abandoned site flow that people might be familiar with. This gets triggered when people have clicked on your emails X amount of times in a certain duration of time or a certain time window where they have not viewed a product, they have not added a cart, or have not purchased or checked out as well. These people are your most engaged non-buyers. They like your content, but they're just for whatever reason not ready to buy yet. You can think of these people as just somebody who walks by your storefront every single day. They look in through the window, but they just never really step in. This is your opportunity to send them a perfectly timed flash sale that lands in their inbox like a happy coincidence. Just never hint to them that you are tracking them, but this is the flow upgrade that most brands don't even know exists. So that's all 5 acquisition flows. Now let's dig into the retention side, where actually this is where most brands have the biggest hole in their email system. So we have the 4 retention flows. The first flow is the thank you flow, also known as the post-purchase flow. I just like to call it the thank you flow. It makes sense to me. This gets triggered when somebody just placed an order. Peak satisfaction, they just made a decision and they want to feel good about it. So your job is to reinforce that decision, kill any buyer's remorse that might show up, and then you want to teach them how to get the most value out of the product or item that they just purchased. Then you want to quietly set up the next purchase. You want to think of this as a shop owner who walks the customer out of the store, thanks them sincerely, and slips a little note inside of their bag explaining how to enjoy what they just bought. This one email flow is the single biggest LTV lever in your entire email setup. Okay, so next up is the customer upsell flow. This gets triggered when the order is fulfilled, they've received their product, and they've actually started using it. So they're pretty much in the this was a good decision zone, and they're really riding the dopamine right now. This is exactly the moment to recommend something that's complementary to what they just received or more of what they just received. You can kind of think of this as the waiter coming back to your table after dessert, offering you a coffee. It's perfect timing and it's very low resistance. The job here is very simple. You just get that existing customer to buy from you again as soon as possible. So the next retention flow is the customer win back flow. This gets triggered when a customer has bought at least once, but they're going dormant, they're going quiet, and it gets triggered usually around 2 to 3 times your repurchase cycle. So kind of think of this in a relationship sense. They liked you at first, and then life happened, time passed, and you just started to drift apart. Think of this like you're reaching out to an old friend you haven't talked to in months. You're not selling anything, you're just reconnecting. Then you want to remind them why they liked you so much in the first place. The offer in this customer win-back flow should be strong, okay? It's entirely worth it to offer them a nice discount or really nice attractive offer to keep that customer instead of spending your customer acquisition costs to acquire a new customer. Be generous here. And the last retention flow is the sunset unengaged flow. This gets triggered when somebody hasn't opened or clicked one of your emails in months. So these people have basically mentally checked out, but you want to give them one last chance to re-engage with your brand. Then you want to flag the non-responder so that you can keep your list clean and healthy. You can kind of think of this as texting somebody who's been ignoring your messages and just asking them honestly if they still want to be friends. No hard feelings, you are just getting clarity. This is probably the most underrated and overlooked flow that you're probably not running. I see this in so many brands that I audit, but this flow protects your deliverability, and your deliverability is what makes every email you send actually land. So those are the 9 core flows, but here's the part that actually matters. So this is why I'm giving away the guide. I saw how big of a problem it was for so many DTC brands out there, even if they're completely oblivious to it. And I want every single e-com operator out there to be able to maximize their revenue potential, even if I cannot help you directly. So I built a comprehensive 25-page guide for these 9 core flows. This is every flow that every brand should have set up today. So inside the guide, I walk you through the purpose of each flow, the exact triggers, the profile filters, the timing, and what each email should contain based on the nature of your brand. So I've seen people try to sell this information for hundreds of dollars online. It's nowhere near as good. It's nowhere near as detailed, and I'm gonna give it to you for free. And I'll be direct with you about why I'm doing this. I wanna metaphorically shake your hand and start a relationship with you so that down the line when you might need more help, you think of me, myself, and my team here at Email Cloud. And I'm also doing this because I know how much energy it takes to run an e-com brand, and I want to help as much as I can. And if you want to know something, I'm not going to gatekeep it. So here's how to get it. There's 2 steps. So all I'm going to be asking you for is your best email address, which is going to get you onto my newsletter, Email Money, where I spill even more email sauce, all the tactical stuff for DTC operators where you genuinely won't find this anywhere else. If you want to grab the guide, I'll leave a link in the description down below. So just drop your email, you'll get the guide instantly, and you'll be on the newsletter. That's it, no catch. So just one last thought before you go. These 9 core flows is what compounds your email revenue. If you have missing flows, that means you're leaking money every single day that they're not running. So go ahead and audit your Klaviyo right now and count how many of these 9 flows you have running and is actually built well. If it's fewer than 9 flows, you just found your roadmap. And once you have these 9 core flows dialed in, there's a whole entire layer of other flows that unlocks even more revenue for you. I'm talking replenishment, VIP and loyalty rewards, subscription welcomes, birthday flows, anniversary flows. The guide will name them all for you. But get these 9 core flows right, because these are the foundation. By the way, if you're struggling with any of this and you think you could use some help, I'll leave a link in the description down below just in case you're interested. Don't worry, it's nothing super fancy. It's just a video of me explaining how I help e-com branders. If you're looking for that kind of thing, feel free to go check it out if you're having some trouble with customer retention or not a big deal. So that's all for this one. If you got any value out of this video, go ahead and slap that like button and you leave a comment down below with any questions you might have about email and SMS marketing or retention. And go ahead and click on that subscribe button, okay? It's free. It's free. If you want more fire videos like this, just go ahead and subscribe. Thank you so much. Have an amazing day. Thank you so much for watching all the way through. I will see you in the next one.